What is happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode. Today happens to be the third episode in our series, how to clear the backlash. We already went over how are your brakes made, what do they do, how do you set the brakes out on the water and cast. Well, today we're going to go over the inevitable. If you're new with baitcasters, you're going to backlash. Do not get frustrated, do not get angry. It's part of the learning process. You skateboard, you fall down. You play basketball, you miss shots. Now trust me, I've had tons of backlashes in my years of using a baitcaster. So I'm gonna go over the things that I found that work for me. Might not be the only way to do it, and I'll show a couple other ways that I've seen people do, but almost any backlash it'll get you out of. I'll tell you the things what to do and what not to do when you're trying to clear one of those pesky backlashes. Okay, so the first thing we need to do when we're learning how to clear a backlash is, well, get a backlash. I don't think that should be a problem for me. Oh, that was a bad one. Okay, so the question is, how do we go about clearing this beast? Okay, so the number one thing you never ever want to do when you're clearing a backlash is start pulling hard. Well, that's a good question. You're probably asking why. Why shouldn't I pull hard, Debo? Well, to get a closer look at this, you can see here we have a little backlash down here in DEBO'S dungeon. And if you take this line, you're frustrated out on the water, and you just start pulling real hard, see, that's just going to start cutting in. You're just going to only take these lines and dig them deeper down into the spool. And trust me, you will be a lot worse off than if you'd just been gentle with it. That is a very, very bad thing to do when you're clearing out a backlash. So keep pulling it gently. All right, this one's not too bad. You always want to make sure you keep your thumb on the spool so it's not going to keep running and just keep backlashing as you're trying to clear the backlash. Keep your thumb on there like so. Let's see if we can get a worse one. That one might be trouble. All right, this one was pretty awful. As you can see, this is nasty. You do one of these and you probably start crying inside, right? Well, don't start crying. What you want to do is you want to start taking and picking these ones that are kind of loose. When you pull your line here, you can see these little lines that stick over it. It'll form a little U shape. Speaking of the V or U-shaped lines that go over your main line, let's take a closer look at that. So as you can see here, I've got a backlash on my reel. Here's my main line. My main line's coming in straight down through. And you can see there, those two lines right there that are coming over. When I pull my line tight, those are what's stopping my line right now. These two lines right back here, they're coming right over my main line and holding it up there. It won't go any farther. Those are the lines that you want to attack directly. So instead of pulling this and picking all this front stuff out, none of that's going to matter yet, because I really need to focus on those two. Those two lines right there that are catching it, you never want to keep pulling here. You want to attack the issue. So when I'm telling you, focus on those lines, those U or V-shaped lines, these are the ones. So if we take these now, just pull them up, pull them so they come loose, just like that, just to where it stops pulling. Let's see what happens. Right there, see that line running underneath everything? That's probably going to be an issue here in just a little bit when we get to it. For right now, we have got, oh man, all kinds of issues. You see these here that are coming under? These two little loops right there? Speaking of the lines going underneath, that's the whole reason for the backlash. As you cast, and this spool keeps going, it fluffs these up, as you can see here. See how it's real loose? And as that's spinning, it's throwing these side to side, and that's when you get these lines here underneath the other lines as it's spooling back. Those are the ones you're going to want to clear. Those are stopping my line from coming out freely, so I'm going to want to gently pick those out. Now, as I said, with any nylon line, you want to be very, very gentle. As soon as you take one of these and bend them over and crease it, you're going to make that line weak there. Now, why am I saying be so careful with this line? Well, there is a second method to get these backlashes out. They use the old push and twist methods. This method does work. However, I have to stress, be very, very careful with this method on nylon lines. So monofilament, fluorocarbon copolymers, any line like this, your clear line, these are nylon lines. If you take this line and crimp it and squeeze it in half and come to a point where there's an actual crease in it, that's going to be weak. And the next time you go to cast, and if it stops, there's a little bit too much weight there, or you set a hook, that line will break. So be very, very careful with the push and twist method. What's this push and twist method consist of? Well, you've probably seen people do it. They're going to hold their thumb real tight on it and do a half twist. And what that's doing is taking these strands and unraveling them, pushing them in the opposite direction to help loosen that off your line. So you can see here, my backlash again is stuck at some lines there. All you do is put your thumb on the spool, put pressure there, make sure your drag's locked down good and tight. I'm going to take my handle here and do a half turn. So I'm going to take it here, keep tight, and reel it a half turn, half, third, and then I'm going to test it. So I'm going to push my thumb back down, and there we go. It got that one out. And then you're just going to keep doing that, rinse and repeat. Now, a lot of times it's not going to work on the first time like it did there, so you might have to do it again. You might have to push down hard, go half turn, click down, see, did it work? Did it, oh, like see right there, I've got another one. So I would push, third, didn't work, try it again, push down, turn, And there we go. It worked. Rinse and repeat. Now, the reason I don't like that again is because oftentimes with all this line all scrunched up and close together on there, you're going to end up crimping multiple lines. And you'll notice when you're pulling it out, some of the line will look like real funky and real gnarly and twisted. I can't stress enough that that will ruin a spool of line. So even though you got that backlash out, the next time you cast hard or you get snagged in something and just give it a little pull, or even worse, set the hook on a big fish, there's a good chance you're going to break that line. So be very delicate with that line. Be slow about it. You can see there it's starting to come loose. You get to little spots like this where it will start to hang up. You give it just a little bit of tension and it starts to catch again. Look for those pieces that actually come over this line. So you'll see when I zoom in here, you can see it's the exact same thing again. Oh, that one came free, but it's just going to be those repetitively over and over. Right in there, you can see where it's getting hung up. So that's what I want to do. I want to attack that problem. You can see there's some lines here coming underneath another little piece of line. Just going to gently move those. Again, you don't want to kink your line. There you go. See how that line's through there? I've got the little curls right there on it. These little curls right here. These are the things I want to pull up and under. Those are the spots you want to clear with your hand. Give it just a light tug, boom, and like that, they'll come free. So you want to be very gentle with it. Keep giving it light tugs along the way. And when you get to those spots that's holding it up, attack those little pieces that go over your main line. You'll see them start to form a V. Those are the things that you want to attack and go after. You don't want to just start haphazardly pulling this. See how it's getting tight again? So see what it forms there? That one little line right here that's over it. So instead of just keep pulling this harder, it would just bury that. If I just kept pulling real hard, it's just going to bury this line right down in there. That line that's over it. If I kept pulling real hard, it's going to bury that down underneath. So I'm going to take and attack just this line, and I'm going to pull it out a little bit, just like that. Get a little bit more room, and I should move past it. There we go. And that's what you want to do on each one of these. And just keep going slow when you get to a spot like that. See it's holding up here? Don't pull it hard. Okay, so it's these two little lines here that are causing the hang up. Start pulling it until they start to come free. Get loose like that. Boom, I got that one out. And that's all you're going to do the whole way through is just be gentle with it. And that's going to get out most every single backlash that you get. Thank you all so very much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you fishing friends at home. Now please use this video as an interactive forum. Leave me any questions, comments about getting a backlash out, setting your brakes on your reel, whatever it is, leave a comment below. I tell you, the tips to get these backlashes out will help a ton. It will cut down the learning curve. Unless you've not set your brakes properly and they're too loose or you cast into a tree overhead, those you might have to cut out your reel. But everything else, I swear these tips will help you. So leave a comment below. I want to try to get to 500 comments on this video. Whether you've got ideas for a different video, different series you want to see. Maybe this was just really helpful and you like the series. Maybe you want to see a different series on casting. Whatever it is, leave a comment below. I want to know what you all think. So until next time.